As far as terrorist groups go, there are a number of prime suspects who could have carried out the massacre in Paris, according to a U.S. counterterror official. One possible suspect, ISIS. Tweets believed posted by a person familiar with ISIS point to the potential of ISIS's involvement in the attack. That's according to the security website Flashpoint, which can't verify the authenticity of the tweets. Less than 2 months ago, French nationals fighting with ISIS did call for lone wolf attacks inside France.
If you can poison the drink of an enemy of Allah, do it. Kill them, spit in their faces, run them over with your cars. Do whatever you can.
Other potential suspects, Al-Qaeda and their affiliate in Yemen, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. AQAP, in a March 2013 edition of its magazine Inspire, ran a wanted, dead or alive poster, which included Stéphane Charbonnier, an editor of Charlie Hebdo magazine. He was killed in the Paris attack.
Inspire had called for Charbonnier's death previously, and that fact is potentially significant. I mean, it also means that he was a target for other groups, not just for Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula.
2014 was rife with isolated terror attacks. The Sydney, Australia hostage siege, which left the gunman and 2 hostages dead. The attack in Ottawa, Canada, where a gunman killed a soldier. A man wielding a hatchet wounded 2 New York police officers. A man with a gun wrapped in an ISIS flag killed 4 people at a Jewish museum in Brussels. What do they have in common with the Paris attack?
This is an Islamist-inspired attack focusing on somebody or an organization that they believe has committed some form of blasphemy.
Many of those other incidents came after a call from ISIS for lone wolf attacks on civilians in any U.S. allied country. But does Paris fit that pattern? One analyst says no.
The way that the gunmen have been holding their rifles, the way that they were firing, the way they were grouping their bullets, suggests to us that they actually have received some very, very intensive military training. Also, the way that they escaped, we saw 2 people running towards a car.
And yet the planning for the Paris attack wasn't perfect. The gunman had to ask 2 maintenance men where the magazine's offices were. But at the same time, they seemingly knew the day and time the magazine staff held its editorial meeting with the highest number of potential targets in the building, and they knew the names of their victims, yelling the names as they shot them. And because of the coordinated nature of this, a senior U.S. intelligence official tells us the intelligence community is monitoring any threat streams which might warn of another attack on the way. Wolf.
And if these 3 terrorists, at least 3 terrorists, are affiliated with any of these terror groups, the key question is, where were they? Where did they travel? Where potentially did they learn the techniques that were clearly used?
That's going to have to be ferreted out in the coming days, Wolf. It's a key question. If they're affiliated with ISIS, did they recently fight in Syria or Iraq? If they did that, intelligence officials and analysts tell us that that is the worst news that they could get. It means that they're French nationals who may have returned